So, we're gonna try something different today. We're gonna be doing a quest from Runescape 3, not OG class, or old school, like, called the Needle Skips. Never done it before, never heard of it, but I've been on the RS3 grind. Up the quest. You examine the needle. A word contains. What's this? You received a section of it drums with great power. Where was that by? You give the needle the correct word and show you times one. What happened? The needle skips. The fully voice acted quest features live recorded. We suggest you turn the sound on. Yep. I didn't know that. I just turned it on to have answers. Frozen blood. She has written Megan. Blood needle. Needle stands firm, immovable, a fixed point in time. You have the urge to seek your answers. What has gone? Find the key. So I play this game off and on. I play old school a lot more. This is a fun one. It's like the grind and how fast the grind can get. I could play this for an hour and feel like I've gotten. So yeah, figure out what's being done down. We'll talk to Megan.
Primrose, books are for bookcases. The clue's in the name. Stop scattering them about this damned house. You won't get out of bed for dinner, but you'll do it for a flipping book.
Book. Discovered a fragment
The
of.
day we moved here, Primrose was 2. I remember her toddling next to us, carrying a book, one of the bigger ones. You couldn't stop her. We called her a little pack-yak Primrose. Sure, she slowed us down, made the journey painfully long, but you tried to tell her to stop. Ah, good days. My whole life I've been surrounded by books. Not once have I read one. I can see my tombstone, crushed under a pile of books. When I met Joss, he was hidden behind a stack of wizarding tomes. He'd line our house. Primrose treated them as toys, then things to climb, then adventures to climb into. Her imagination was always wild. She'd play out the god wars with Saradomin as a ladle and Zamorak as a pepper pot.
Okay. I think Primrose is probably the best, just because she's a lot. Yeah. What? Spelling. You discover a new fragment.
Primrose is so strong, but people can't see past the illness. Doctors, visitors, they all make that mistake. Judge her by the disease, the microscopic evil magnified into something huge. But I see the strength. Damn girl never lets an argument go unwon. She'll fight for the things she loves, for sure. And she's full of love. Not always for her mum, but, you know, it's there. Growing up, she loved everything, cared for everything.
Illness. What?
A year to live. That's all the doctor could give her. Holding his hands out upright like a pauper. Please, miss, this is all I can give you. Primrose just half smiled when the doctor told her. I was so angry at her for brushing it all aside. I needed her to cry, break down, something. Just react, damn it. Each month I watched helplessly as she got thinner. Her skin became translucent. But you know Primrose. It just meant that her character shone through brighter. I wish she didn't hide that character away. So often she reserved it for her creatures, her monsters.
Monsters. Huh. Didn't she say something about having her husband? No, let's focus on Primrose. Doctor. Talked about a doctor.
The potions would strengthen her for a day or two. Then she would be back in bed, just as ill. It's like the disease was a bull, crashing through any barrier we put in front of it. But I couldn't help buying potion after potion. Near half of the money we had, it was spent on these little moments of strength.
Oh, we go back to that. Okay. Is that her husband?
Every weekend it was the same thing. Pack provisions, wrap some books in blessed cloth, and worry about leaving Primrose behind. Then it was the trip to the Wizard's Tower, cart and all. Sell some books to Sloop, ask around about Joss, cook a weekend banquet for the elite wizards. Then it was back home, worried about Primrose and whether Gale had kept her safe.
Gale? How's Gale?
Is there anyone more self-involved than a wizard? I get it, I do. As a wizard, you have to study for years. You have to find a niche that no wizard has found. You have to fight over whatever resources there are. But none of them, not Joss, not Sloop, not the Wizard's Tower, can see how self-centered they are.
Wait, hold on. Wizard's Tower. Wizard's Tower? So he would trek from up here all the way. That's the Wizard Guild. Okay. Hold on. That fool every week would travel from Draenor to Falador, over the Taverley, and all the way. Oh my god! That fool spent like a day or something over there? Like, what the hell? So he'd trek all the way down. He'd probably stop in Artie, up through the Sears Village. He could have stopped in Artie and then taken to Port Sarim to there. But by the sounds of it, they sound pretty freaking poor. Anyways, you mentioned a person named Gale? Who the hell's Gale? Gale? There we go.
Gale didn't come to us at first. She'd been watching us for some time from the Needle, making sure we weren't monsters, I guess.
Hey.
I mean, we'd seen her. She wasn't great at hiding herself, after all. She's 10 foot tall and blue. Joss assumed the worst, as he always did.
10?
Tried to scare her away with air blasts. Nothing that would hurt, she kept clear. It was only when Joss left, abandoned us, that she felt courage enough to talk to me.
Joss. What the hell's Joss? Is that another name for her?
Temper. That's what Joss would always say to me. Gods, it would only make me angrier. Whenever I would hook his nose out of a damned book, temper. whenever I called him on his laziness, doing the chores with some cheap magic. Temper, temper. They were even his last words to me before he left. Wherever the bastard has gone, I imagine him repeating them like a cheap toy.
Huh. I'm using a guide, but I'm also trying to like go through it. But she was angry about it. Let's go with anger. Angry? There we go.
When I was younger, I'd fall in love twice a week. It would come to me as easy as a temper, and would disappear just as quick. I thought I would fall out of love with Joss as quickly as the others. In the end, the love went, but it took a while. There was my love for Sarah Domin, of course, but I wasn't getting love in return. The score wasn't equal. Primrose has always been the exception. To fall out of love with Primrose would be to fall out of love with, well, everything. I know what you're thinking. No, that time doesn't count. I wasn't angry with Primrose, I was angry at them.
Who's them? Well, she talked about Sarah Jones, which, last I recall, everyone mistaken for the good god, but law and order. Zamrak, who is chaos to the nth degree. So they're both evil in some retrospective. Just one of justice. Or order and chaos. Look how much I love it. Do it at work during a boring day. Walking back. Brought me back. Turning on this game. So let's stop for a minute for half a second. The word you entered does not reveal any new form. Really? Okay. Love? Huh? Oh. Well, what did she talk about? We talked about the Wizard's Tower. We talked about her love for her daughter, Joss, and the blue one. Do you have any adventures? Like everyone else? Well, we talked about Sarah Doman, so what about... Did I spell that right? Oh! Here? Okay. That blue woman? No. Does she have any friends?
I guess we should have stopped it earlier. Even when she was young, she'd have imaginary friend after imaginary friend. They'd even have relatives. Imaginary sisters and brothers would come to visit. Some would get lost, and we'd have to pretend to look for them. It got serious once Primrose got ill. She would keep their counsel, rather than talk to me. She did it when I wasn't watching, but I knew. She would write poems with them, sing with them, confide in them, ask them for their thoughts. I had no choice. I had to sell The Adventures of Hannibus. It was going to bring us food, medicine, which would make her strong again. I was going to ask permission from Primrose, but she wouldn't have understood. I took it from her as she slept. She had her arms around it, like she knew the plan. It took some jostling. She didn't mention Hannibus the next morning. Not a word.
What's this Hannibal?
There was a day when the illness hit her hard. A day when she couldn't ignore it. Primrose dropped her favorite book. The Adventures of Hannibus, I think it was. She couldn't pick it up. It was open. It was the first time I'd seen her cry since the illness. I tried to hand it to her, but she shoved it away. I felt like...
Cry? Illness. Anything else? Oh, here it is. For years, oh, Sloop.
Sloop was my husband's apprentice. He was a boy, not much older than Primrose, I guess, but he caught the wizarding bug, self-centered and ambitious. Still, he kept an ear out for news about Joss. Plus, he bought my books, as often as he could spare the money. You could tell he never found it easy talking to me. He wanted to keep our meetings as quick as possible. The boy has a dark secret, you can be sure of it. Last trip, he asked for The Adventures of Hannibus and said he would pay well. It's Primrose's favorite book. I don't know if I can take it from her, but we need to eat. We need her medicines.
Understand? There we go. Oh, we're putting more shit on. Okay.
Saradomin, this is my final prayer. If you're listening, then damn you. You choose to listen now. You choose the moment when I give this up. Damn you back to the Third Age. You know what? I don't care whether you listen or not. I found someone else.
We'll pick him up. Well, symbol rail up. Fourth product. Someone has carved Joss for me. Rudely takes out his heart by the book. Stuffing dirt.
Primrose, books are for bookcases. The clue's in the name. Stop scattering them about this damned house. You won't get out of bed for dinner, but you'll do it for a flipping book.
Book. Maybe there's something. What was about that blue woman?
Mum, the books don't want to be in the bookcase. Just stop fussing. And don't go calling them monsters. They're friends. No chance of me making any more friends. Gotta hold on to the ones I've got.
Here's Sloop. I'm told beneath the dragon. The egg the girl. Face glow. Once. Or the what does this story even lead to? Like a thing or a path? They all come from the apothecary. Alright. Oh, that apothecary. The one in South. Right? Down here. Well, we have a fireplace. Fireplace?
I opened the book on the way to selling it. I couldn't tell you why. I never had an impulse to read a book before. I guess inside was a slip of paper, a poem, lightly scrawled in feeble handwriting. Primrose confessed her love. She begged to be saved. The world fell away from me. I stopped the cart and turned around. My head thrummed with rage. I worked the horse near to death. The fury was wild and directionless. I burned with rage at myself. Then the flames moved to Joss. After all, everything bad came from that damned man. Finally, the fury rested on the books. When I returned home, I threw them all into the fireplace. Primrose screeched from her bed, begging me to stop. I lit the fireplace and the books burned. But the magic on the books was fuel, and flame mushroomed out of the pit, knocking me to the floor. I was scarred and drowsy. Primrose was screaming about her friends burning over and over. Gale found me, probably thanks to Primrose. She applied some kind of salve to me, but there was no removing the scar. It was...
Well, she hasn't talked about it.
You got to remember, up to this point, Gale was a bogeyman. Someone who watched us and then sped away into the night. Then she's in my house, talking to me, offering me wishes like I was a princess from one of Primrose's books. Gale led me to the hilltop. Her hands were so cold and hard. I felt numb, but I couldn't figure out if it was from me or her. She showed me something called the needle. Gale asked again, did I really want my wish? She had to shake me to get an answer. The needle would take us both back 30 days. While Gale and I would remember what had happened, no one else would. We'd be the only ones to remember the sea troll's attack.
Wait, sea troll attack?
But Primrose would be alive. I agreed, and Gale pulled thread from the needle. She separated the thread into strands, and a dome of fabric fell about us.
Fabric?
The dome flashed with blinding light. You couldn't see about you, it was impossible. As the light, I rushed through the door and checked the calendar. 30 days back. My daughter's birthday. I checked my bedroom. There wasn't another Megan in there. Then I went to Primrose. She was asleep in her bed. I sat in the chair, watching her. No one was going to budge me from that spot. Not ever.
You got a second. Went back. 30 days? 30?
It was the morning after I traveled back in time. 30 days. Back to the morning of Primrose's birthday. Primrose looked so much better than I remembered. Here she was, unmarked by any sea troll, happy and soulful. She was alive, dear gods, and happy. I resolved in that moment to never let her get hurt again. Gale, one...
So, we need to talk about this.
You can ignore death, blood, murder. The mind's flexible like that. They all happen to faraway people with faraway lives. It was blissful. We lived in a house where those things didn't exist. But it was like we were pulling back the curtains and hoping for the best. Hoping that those flimsy pieces of fabric would keep the violence out. We were wrong. The world got in. A sea troll got in. Some memories stick in you like barbs. They hurt whenever you accidentally catch yourself on them. I was on the way back from the Wizard's Tower. The day had gone well. I'd sold some books for more than I expected, and I'd gotten the cooking job. But I arrived at the house. There was the bang-bang of the door, slamming. I abandoned the cart, rushed in. I called for Primrose. A stray sea troll had found its way into the house. It was long gone when I got there, but it had killed her. Primrose. That was the first time Gale talked to me. I couldn't move. I was crying on the floor of the kitchen, and Gale came... Primrose, stop scattering them about. You won't get out of bed for dinner, but you'll do it for a flipping book.
Okay. People got it. Full. Tab. World got it. So I know the last word. Wait.
Mom! The book, and don't go. No chance of me making any.
So we need to use the and abandon venture apprentice act banquet thing. There we go. Bed birthday. Blue. Orange. Calendar. Art. Wire. Wall. Book. Speaker. Bride. Death. Dying. Doctor. Here. Flame. Dog. Help. Help. Owner. Husband. Illness, imagination. Burning. Cold. Laziness. Mother. Love. Courage. Misery. Mother. Murder. Needle. Act. Poetry. Prayer. Ramble. Scar. April. Name. Song. Year. Spell. Spell. Stranger. Temper. Dinner. Hour. Hour. Boy. On. Wishes. Here. Beyond. Well. Blue. One. Second chance. Dog.
Primrose, stop scattering them about.
Oh, drawn to it. Act. What the fuck?
Primrose wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't look at me. I'd find scraps of her meals tucked into her pillowcase. She was dying, so much faster than before, and she was pulling at the last threads of life, hoping to find death at the other end. I'd lost her. I went to Gale. What else could I do? I begged for another wish. To take the 30 days, to go back again. Gale calmed me and told me to return tomorrow. The needle would be recharged and I could return to Primrose's birthday. I could do this all again.
Wow. I think that's where we're gonna call it. Part 2, I guess. Back and forth. Till then.